Okay, hallo. Also, for those maybe 5 people who were waiting another comprehensible input in German video, I'm sorry. I have been busy, but there will be a lot more in the future, I promise. And for the rest who maybe saw the title and thought, oh my, that might be interesting, yeah, I have something for you. So, but without further ado, I want to say first what I will be talking about, so you're not wasting your time 10 minutes in understanding like, okay, this is not even what I wanted or what I need. So, if you fit the 2 criteria that I will share with you, then this might be interesting for you. So you're learning any language, and you're obviously, and you want to track your immersion. And if you fit these 2 criteria as well, then this could be interesting to you. 1, you're doing a lot of, or the majority of your immersion on the PC, on a computer, on a laptop, like not on your phone or not reading or whatever. So this is criteria number 1. Number 2 is actually YouTube is a great chunk of your immersion, of your total immersion time. So if you fit those 2 criteria, I think this could be interesting to you. At least maybe you should get into the why I actually built this, which I will tell you next. So the reason, let me just go into my notes. So the reason, there's actually 3 reasons why I built it. There are a lot of trackers, and I looked into them. And for my project to acquire Spanish within a year and do 1,000 hours of immersion within a year, I actually wanted to track everything I do and document everything I do very closely. And I also made a dedicated project uploading my experience on YouTube, that's on a separate channel, sorry. And yeah, but there's 3 reasons why I thought it would be good to have a tracker like the one that I built. And I couldn't find any tracker that actually did these 3 things in one. And that is 1, the YouTube tracking, like automatically tracking YouTube without me pressing any buttons or like checking in if it works or not. And there are trackers that actually do this, but not in combination with the other 2 features that I wanted. And that is 2, tracking your comprehension. I work as a German teacher that is based on Krashen, right, on immersion theory. And so what I really noticed that people don't have any idea of their progress. And sometimes for me, there are a few really crazy cases where people who made extraordinary progress and ask me at some point, Gerhard, I don't really know. I think I'm not really getting ahead. I think I'm not making any progress. What should I do? Should I maybe go back to more traditional stuff in addition to what I'm doing immersion-wise? And I was shocked to hear that the first time from someone I didn't think a lot about it. But then that happened again and again with people that clearly made huge progress, like way over my already very optimistic prognosis. Well, they made a lot of progress, but they felt they didn't progress at all, maybe. Or not as much. And so that got me thinking. And I thought a lot about, okay, how can I help them? How can I give them the sense of that they made progress? And so I actually noticed that this is really like a problem in the whole or immersion language learning community. So I thought about this and I thought, okay, actually it's easy, like a tracker could do that, right? A tracker could track all the time or ask you, how much did you understand with this? How much did you understand with that? And because of course it's not an exact science, but like if you get a lot of data in, it will get more precise and more precise. And there's also a few other features that I will talk about a little later connected to this, which actually will help you to get a real sense of your progress. So that is the second feature that I wanted. And the third feature was actually that everything is frictionless, right? Like I saw many trackers that, and if you do a lot of immersion on your phone, for example, then this is not for you, because it will create friction that you have to go back basically to the computer. And maybe in the future, I see some web-based app that will connect to Arthur, but for now, I mean, this wouldn't be maybe for you. But for me, I spend most of my time on my PC or on my MacBook. And so I wanted to have something that every immersion type needs to be tracked in a very simple way with a few clicks, and actually also in a way that it's precise, so that I can give it a name, and I have extensive lists where I can see exactly what I did, what I watched, at what time, and so on. So I wanted these 3 things, and I couldn't find a tracker that actually did all these 3 things. So we live in a time of Claude Code and ChatGPT, which are trusty helpers when it comes to programming, which I can't really do myself. But with these tools, I tried to basically vibe code this tracker, and it worked really well. And then I thought, okay, this might be useful for other people as well. So I thought I will share it with everyone who's interested. Okay, so now let me show you what I am talking about. So here we have YouTube, right? You see the normal YouTube UI with one little difference, and that is this UI element here that is from Arthur. And so right now it is passive because the YouTube video is not running, and also you need to at least watch 30 seconds of video time for it to start tracking, but then it tracks also the 30 seconds included. Just because if you're skipping through YouTube videos, you're not like counting like sessions over sessions that are basically not immersion time. And when you click it, you can actually log your comprehension, like in percent in 11 steps from 0, which gives you like a nil value, and 100%, which means you understand everything, every word, or at least all the meaning. And I would always say, like, estimate your your understanding, your comprehension in meaning of the meaning of what's being said. And so it will always also ask you in the middle or at the end of the video, you can determine that in the settings, how much you understood. And then it tracks for this video, and also especially for this session, how much you understood. Right, that's all. Like, YouTube tracking is automatically, it shows you the pop-up, how much did you understand, and you can track that as well. So that's really good. So the second thing is, there's actually a shortcut. This is on Mac, Shift, Option, and A for Arthur. And then you get into this side panel. And the side panel, let me just switch my head around here. Okay, great. The side panel shows you 3 tabs with stats, actually manual entries, and session, which is like just a stopwatch basically, and where you can track your immersion time. So you can track your immersion time with the stopwatch, and then if you're done, it asks you okay, what type of immersion it is. You can also have your custom slots. It's ID bound, by the way, so the type of immersion or the immersion category will always be bound to that slot. So name it once, you can rename it, but keep in mind that will always be ID tracked here. And then you can use the name for giving it basically like a name. For example, now YouTube tracks, of course, automatically, so you don't need that. But let's say you watch Netflix and you watch Breaking Bad, and so you type in Breaking Bad and you use / to actually create 2 names that are separately seen and will be categorized as such for the details, which when you watch a series, it would be best practice to name the series name, and then after the / use the episode number. So, and then also you can enter your comprehension value or comprehension rate that for that session. right? So, and with manual, it's basically the same, only after the fact, after you've done the immersion, you can just type in, basically, for example, what I do is when I walk and have a podcast of Spanish running while I walk. When I come back, I just sit at my computer and just type in, okay, 20 minutes of immersion time. Here I can, for example, press dreaming. It's auto-filling, like for example, dreaming is for me always like dreaming Spanish, which maybe you know, maybe you don't. It's basically the gold standard of Spanish comprehensible input material. And it makes it all very frictionless, at least to all my abilities. If you have any suggestions how to make it even better, I'm open to that, to change things for the better. But I think now it's only very few clicks. For me, it usually takes like only 2-3 seconds to maybe 5 seconds if I type in a new name to track that session or that immersion time. So stats here will tell you the usual stuff, like my daily goal, for example, is 2 hours, which you can see if you hover above the progress bar. And it will show you how much progress you made for the day and how close you are to fulfilling your daily goals. Then it will show you the immersion time per day, per week, some other stats that I won't get into. You can look it up once you install it, and you can use the hover over feature where you can see what these numbers are about. And so, but now I want to get into the most important feature, and this you will reach in the dashboard. I will open it now. So this is how the dashboard looks. And this is, by the way, the light theme, and I think in a few minutes it's 8 o'clock and the system will switch to dark mode, so maybe that's convenient for you to see the dark mode as well. I mean, here you can change it to system light or dark. The settings here, and for example, you can change the language. Right now it's only German and English, but in the future I want to translate it to other languages as well, maybe Japanese, maybe Chinese, Russian, Arabic, or something like that, like some of the widely spoken languages, and so on. Anyway, and so you can see a few things that are interesting, convenient, and that is, first of all, you have a challenge here with stages, and you can just edit your challenge. You can give it a name, you can give it a target within a certain time frame, and choose if you want to have stages and how many, and the distribution of the hours within the session, right? Like rising, falling, custom, and so on. I won't get into details, but I think you understand. And you can actually add a second challenge, but then it will show a little bit smaller version of the UI of both challenges at the same time at this spot. So I mean, that's still like standard features. You can see how you've done like the last 2 months, or like the current months and the last month. You will see the source distribution. For me, for example, because I'm just how many days in? 62 days in, so 2 months. So it's still only video and audio, but in the future it will of course contain text and interactive if I do crosstalk on italki or Preply or so on and so on. And so yeah, and and now to the, I think, unique features that actually will make it worthwhile for other people. And this is the data and the features connecting to the comprehension tracking. And for the first feature here, you can see actually like your total comprehension, or basically 4 categories, like too hard, learning, and sweet spot, and what you already understand, or so on. And you see here, for example, I'm mostly between like the learning material, meaning 50 to 70%, and the sweet spot, which is like 70 to 90% of comprehension. And yeah, and you just get a feeling of what kind of material you usually watch. in terms of how much you can understand. So, but more exciting features are the two following. For one, comprehension progress. You can actually see how much progress you make. And for me here now, I mean, you see, for example, here like a video I watched a day at the zoo, and yeah, I watched it on the 14th of May, and yeah, I watched it 7 minutes in total. Here you see in 2 sessions. I have to say I was still developing, so that's why I did a lot of, say, reload of the website. So, and now this is all, it will only count as 1 session, so don't worry that you will have useless sessions here or something. Now it would have been 1 session for 7 minutes, but yeah, so, and my comprehension was actually 40%, my self-estimated comprehension. So, but then 2 weeks later I watched it again and my self-estimated comprehension was actually 60%. So I made a clear improvement here, I think. Even with some wiggle room of interpretation, I think you understand or you feel the difference between like what you consider 40% of like the meaning you understand and 60%, right? And yeah, in this video it shows you the same thing, right? I went from 60% to 80% with this video and so on. And yeah, and so, and because it's very like I'm just starting out learning or acquiring Spanish, and because this feature exists now I think for 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, that means like, okay, and it's actually really working without any bugs or any mistakes for 2 weeks now. So for that reason I don't have that much data, but you see where this is going, right? In the future I have like a extensive list of all the videos where I understood I don't know, 40 or 50% at some point, and now I understand 100%, and you, yeah, I think I will create more features that actually over a long period of time show you the exact comprehension progress you make. Okay, and the second big feature, and I think this is even more valuable to some people, to me at least, is it shows you here, like this is the improvement tab and this is the rewatch tab, and this actually shows you videos that you watched and it has actually a threshold of, I think standard is 50 hours of immersion, but I actually put the threshold of 25 hours of immersion because I didn't have any videos that I watched and tracked the comprehension that was old enough to fit this category or this criteria. But so now you see basically that's a video I watched 43 hours of immersion ago, and okay, in this case not that interesting because that's I already understood 90%, but for example this video is more interesting because here this one I watched the last time 41 hours of immersion ago, and I made already progress in before that time, but the last time I understood 50%. Yeah, you can see here that was 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, a little bit more than 2 weeks ago, yeah, I understood 50%. So, and now I can just click it, and then I will be able to watch that video again. Yeah. Anyway, and then I can watch it again and see how much I understand. Roughly 50 or no 40 hours of immersion later. So, and this is, I think, the biggest strength, and that, I mean, I would say like unique selling point of that tracker, that it will show you the progress and you don't have to guess anymore, and you don't maybe feel that insecurity anymore of like, am I making progress or am I not making progress? You know, you can see it and you can feel it by just like you are being reminded of it daily, and you can remind yourself by just like watching stuff. I don't know, something like, it needs to be something reasonable. I think 50 hours of immersion is actually a good value to show you the video again rewatch and for you to estimate again how much you understand. And I think in 50 hours, at least for me, I can say right now, in 50 hours of immersion time, I always make a lot of progress. I mean, but I wouldn't have known really exactly, like I can see here, if I didn't have this feature. So, and I think this will, over time, the more I will use it, it will get more interesting and more interesting, because the more data you have, the more precise you will actually be able to see and to track how much you understand more. And I think this, actually, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back here, and maybe someone else already came up with it, and I don't know, but I think this is a great feature. So anyway, and so yeah, a few other things. There's a lot of history here. I mean, you can see all the videos that you watch. That's actually all YouTube, right? I called the category video because I might include other automatic tracking methods in the future. I didn't do it yet because I didn't feel it's reliable. YouTube is 100% reliable. I mean, I in the last 2 weeks there hasn't been one time I watched YouTube and it hasn't tracked. I was really making sure that this feature works, because this is important for me as well. So the second thing is the stopwatch. That is like the sessions. So the next thing is manual. That is what in the side panel is manual, and stopwatch is session, right? I mean, you get it, I think, but I think I didn't want to call it session because it's kind of session is also, for example, here you see these are all also called sessions, not here, but actually it should say session here. Okay, well, there's still minor things to do, let's say that, but I think nothing that distracts you or something. There's no clear bug or something, at least not of my knowledge. So yeah, anyway, so manual, and you see your challenges, the active one that is running right now, and you see your challenge history. And also, I think a handy feature, I mean, okay, here you see your top YouTube channels of all time. Obviously, that's for me dreaming Spanish, because that's the golden standard. And the other ones are minor right now, but they will be more important in the future. And here you just see, okay, what am I actually watching? Here's your top videos, so you can see them. Okay, what kind of channels? And here it's all dreaming Spanish. So for me, it's the data right now is a little bit boring. But so here's of the last 7 days, which can be sometimes interesting if you change habits. And so you can see here, I'm watching different channels right now, and so on. You can see that. So, but this is all stuff you could have had just by like checking your YouTube profile. One other cool thing is you can actually, it has a very, I would say, semi-sophisticated search function. And so you can, for example, search for stuff, and you can search also or filter through different categories. For example, comprehension, the period you were watching the stuff in, the immersion hours you had already in at that time, the source, comprehension, and so on, and the progress, right? Like, yeah, like I said, like here, for example, did I improve on that particular video or didn't, or is it still due to improvement? I don't know if that's a real sentence, but I think you get what I mean. So, and yeah, so yeah, well, these are all the good features. And so another thing that I wanted to share, everything else, it should be self-explanatory, but if not, I mean, yeah, you can ask me, but yeah. Yeah, maybe I should tell you that. I mean, if you have feedback or something, there's actually here a link where it will send an email to me, and you can tell me what's wrong or what you would like to have as a feature, and I might consider it. And anyway, so a few things that are important. So it tracks one channel, and you can determine that in the settings, but it will also give you data here, like an onboarding process. Once you install it, it will ask you, okay, what's your YouTube handle? of the dedicated YouTube profile that you use for your immersion. And I can highly recommend, even though if you are not downloading this extension, if you not already have done that, create a dedicated YouTube profile for just that language, because then you can sort out all the material that is in other languages, and just if you're not getting distracted, let's say that. So, but for this extension to run properly, you need to have a dedicated YouTube profile. And just because some people don't know that, you don't have to create another Google account. You can have multiple YouTube profiles with one account. Just to let you know, in case you didn't know. I'll show you the start onboarding. The onboarding process that happens in the very beginning. Usually it says hello, then it asks you for your YouTube account. Then it will tell you a few things about itself that could be useful. And then actually, and that is also a feature that I think some people might be excited about, it will ask you to import data, and it can actually, through the magic of AI, you can give it any data you have. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like a YouTube, like a Google sheet, or if it's some things you wrote down on a piece of paper, or whatever it is. Like, it can be really sophisticated and really precise, and it can be just something that you remember. So you need like a free version of any AI. I think like Gemini works, like Claude works, of course, ChatGPT works, of course. So, and you copy this prompt, and then you enter the prompt in the language model, the ChatGPT, for example, and then it will ask you, do you have any data? Do you have anything that I can work with? And you put in everything that you have, and it will ask you a few more questions, or if it's not sure of how to distribute the data that it has, it will ask you what you would suggest or something, and then it will give you out a prompt or like some data that you fill in here again. And you put it in this window, and then you press next, and then you don't start from zero, but you actually have all your past immersion time already tracked. I think that's quite nice for people who don't want to start from zero again. And and a few more things with the settings. This, I will go through it very quickly. So your daily immersion goal is you can set how many hours you want to do. For me, it's 2. For now, I mean, later on, of course, you will think like, okay, 2 hours, how will you get 2,000 in 1 year? I mean, of course, I will increase my daily goal. One thing you should know about this, to actually continue your streak, you need 20% always of what the goal is. But once a streak is reached, that will always be reached. So if you lower your goal, you won't lose the streak, even though it lowers. I think you understand what I mean. But this is important, I think. And this is about the comprehension prompt. So if you actually activate this, and by default it is, then it will ask you midway every session, YouTube session or YouTube viewing, how much you understand. And I think I would recommend you doing this, but if you don't like it, you can either turn it off, and you can always just use the YouTube UI button there to do it yourself. Or you can also say, okay, ask me only half of the times I watch or something. But like I said, I would recommend to do it always. I think you will get used to it, and it's only like a pop-up. The YouTube video pauses for a sec. You press in the value that you feel is correct, how much you understand, and then once you press OK, it will continue, like it will resume the video automatically. And this is the rewatch threshold. Like I said, I think I will put it by default to 25 hours. Right now it's by default to 50 hours, but I mean, it takes a while. I mean, if you do 1 hour a day, it's 50 days. That's quite a long time. So maybe in the beginning, you want to have it set that you will get recommended videos early on already. But I think 50 is actually a good goal, or even 100 for you to really see the progress that you make or that you have made in that time, or in that immersion time. Right, here it shows you the keyboard shortcuts. It's like I said, Shift Option A for the side panel and Shift Option D for the dashboard. Yeah, that comes in handy because sometimes, I mean, it's just faster. And if you get used to it, I think it's just it's just more convenient. So sources, you can count YouTube Shorts. By default it's off because, I mean, I don't know, for me Shorts are banned from my YouTube because I'm not interested in Shorts. I don't like that format. But if you like it and if you use it a lot for your immersion time, you should of course turn it on. And count passive tab. I think that's on by default. I'm not sure, because in the beginning I had it off by default, but it basically means like if you have it off, then once you go into another tab, then it won't count the YouTube seconds anymore. So it only counts if you watch. But I actually do it sometimes. I do some other things, other work in between, and so I mean, I'm listening still, and I'm not that anal about that stuff. So, I mean, I feel like it's okay. It still should count as immersion because I'm listening. So, right. Okay, this is an important feature. So actually, by default, I think it counts YouTube and other video immersion. It counts separately, you know. So if you watch a video like on Netflix, you will pick the category video in either the sessions or the manual entry. And of course, I mean, for me, it makes sense to count this as video, and so you can create a group and say, for example, let's say you have also like another type of video immersion, then you can also count that as a group or the same group, and then in all the graphs, it will show you this counted as one. As one group. Yeah. Okay, I'm near harbor, so that's why you hear the the horns of the ships here in Hamburg. Anyway, yeah, okay, you have different themes, and actually it didn't switch into the dark theme, so I will show you. Right here. So it has a dark theme. It looks like this, right? I think quite beautiful. And you have other themes. For example, if you like a very neutral theme, then you can, for example, use the Chrome theme. That is actually the standard Chrome colors that you have if you don't change the theme on Chrome. This is the dark theme, and this would be the light theme, right? Like you see, I mean, once you have it installed and you have the standard Chrome theme, then it will just fit in quite well if you just like the neutral aesthetic. And and there's one low contrast one, and this is only if you have very good eyes and you kind of like a very flat look. This looks like this, right? It's just gray basically. I like it. I really like this low contrast look, and sometimes I use this. So anyway, yeah. So you can switch the themes. And you can say whether you want to always use the dark or the light one, or just use the same in the system. And that's an important feature here. If you go, I told you about the side panel. If you actually use session a lot, right? Let's say half of the time you're not watching YouTube, you are recording your sessions. Then I think it's actually quite helpful to have the default, I mean, here it says pop-up tab, but it's like the side panel tab. I will change that. Then you can put it, okay. Okay. It's not a bug. Okay. Anyway, it's, you can change it to session, for example. And then every time you open the side panel, then it will show you the session tab first, and then you can directly press start, and so it's more convenient for you. For me, because I'm usually doing only YouTube, and from time to time I use the manual entry for my immersion tracking that I'm not doing on YouTube. So I like to have the stats tab on default. Right, so you can import data, export data, like import only from, I mean, I told you the onboarding process. There you can basically at any time, it overwrites all the data. So you have to do it in the very beginning. I should have mentioned that. But if you want to import data, like let's say you switch computers or whatever, then you can export your data here, like all data in a JSON file, and import the JSON file, of course. And what I just thought about, what you can do is if you want to combine data, right? Like for whatever reason you tracked separately because you didn't take your laptop into your holidays or whatever, then what you could do is you export your data here, you give it to, I think you need Claude, like a paid version of Claude for that, to create like a JSON. I'm not sure actually. Maybe the normal version of ChatGPT can do it too. I'm not sure. But what you can do with an AI is you give it the JSON data and you said, okay, I want to add my data that I tracked separately in my holidays and combine it with the data of the JSON file. And I think it should be able to do that. I mean, I've done other similar things, and it worked quite well, so I hope. And then I think also useful feature if you got naughty and you actually watched something not in your target language, then you can here in the data tab in the settings delete, for example, videos you watched, like multiple at a time from your immersion time, or whole channels where you feel like, I watched this channel, but it's actually not immersion. Or you can actually delete a time range, and that's all final. You can't bring it back. So, right, use it with caution. And you can also do a global reset, right? Which I don't recommend. I think you need, like, I don't know, 2 keys, and so you need to call someone in Washington to do this. But yeah, but I mean, I don't know why you should do this, but I mean, it's there as a feature. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. I think we're all good. I think that's it. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I will put the link also in the comments to the app in the web store, Chrome web store, the Chrome web store. If you hand in a new version of your software, it always takes some days for them to check everything, and I already know they're not big bugs right now there, but there are a few things that I want to improve. And so what you just saw is the newest version, and what is there in the web store, if you see the video today, is not the newest version. And also keep in mind, if you watch this video half a year from now, it will probably look not exactly the same, because I'm planning to have some new features, but probably there will be another video, I guess, if that's a major new thing. Anyway, so, well, yes, if you watched until now, thank you very much for showing interest. I hope if you use it that you will have that you find it useful. If you have any comments, like I said, please feel free to complain or ask for features. If I see it as something useful and it's doable for me, then I will keep it in mind at least. And yeah, so see you then. Bye.